Good evening. You're watching City News at 6. 518 new cases of COVID-19 have been recorded in BC, and 19 more people have died. That brings the total number of deaths to just under 800. But there was some good news today in the latest modeling data shared by our health officials.
What we are doing is working, but we cannot let up.
We're bending the curve of the second wave of COVID-19 in BC, according to the latest COVID-19 modeling data announced by Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry on Wednesday.
What we can see is that Fraser Health Authority is where most of the cases live for COVID-19, particularly more recently, although we have also had substantial numbers of people infected with COVID-19 who live in the Vancouver Coastal Health region, and more recently peaks in Interior Health and the North. The dotted line on the top represents, again, the 7-day rolling incidence of cases per million population, which again peaked in the middle of November and has now again started to drop.
You can see here there was a spike in November, but after the second round of restrictions were put in place, COVID-19 cases started to dip.
What this does show us is that when we adhere to these orders, those case numbers do come down. And that is incredibly important for us to recognize. But we cannot let off. We've seen that happen before. If we look back into October, we were hovering along at 100 cases a day, and very quickly it spread rapidly.
The modeling also shows the vast majority of cases in the second wave are in people aged 20 to 39 years old. And Dr. Bonnie Henry explained there's been very little transmission in schools.
Almost 90% of cases, they acquired their infection outside of the school from primarily household contacts. Of cases in the schools, 2/3 of them were in students, 3/4 were in students, and 1/4 were in staff and adults in the school system. And for 90% of these exposure events, there was no transmission in the school.
Although transmission is slowing, Dr. Bonnie Henry reminding the public that doesn't mean we're out of the woods.
This gives us a sense of what could happen depending on our actions today and tomorrow and next week.
In Burnaby, Miranda Fatour, City News.